Hi, Cristiano. Welcome to our Swydo episode.
Hello,
Hi.
pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Candice.
Yeah, we're looking forward to your expert talking session and to introduce it to the rest of our listeners.
Wonderful. Well, my name is Cristiano. I work with Somebody Digital. We are a digital marketing agency, originally from the UK, but we all work remote these days, right? I've been doing this for a very long time. I would say more than 20 years. And we manage lots of clients in the B2B and B2C industries. We have a lot of experience with all things digital marketing. And today, hopefully, I'm going to add a little bit of value to some of your listeners when it comes down to SEO and what's happening in the AI era, basically.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My first question to you, what made you realize that the SEO approach you had been using for years has stopped working? Was there like a specific moment?
Yeah. And I think not only for us, I think for everyone. When I presented this talk at Brighton SEO, San Diego and UK last year, September, October, what triggered the whole conversation was we now have a lot less clicks from organic results than what we had before. And this is because of the AI overview, right? So obviously we have to do research and try and understand what's happening with those clicks. And of course, the whole user behavior has changed because of AI. People are using a lot of AI these days to ask questions, have conversations, do research. Information became a commodity. And I think one of the key statistics was that between 58 and 62% of searches now end without a click. That was a massive red flag for everyone
Yeah.
because that means you're losing more than half of the clicks you used to get from organic results. And I would dare to say it has had a negative impact on paid search as well, right? So anything related to search, you can expect to see a drop in clicks. So that was the one statistic that caught our attention and basically was an eye-opening exercise. Or we need to do something. We need to refine our strategy because things have changed.
Okay. So you're talking about moving from visibility to kind of like authority in the talk that you did have. For an agency marketer who is not living and breathing SEO every single day, how would you explain what has changed?
Of course. So when we say moving from visibility to authority, I would like to point out that visibility in this case, we're talking about keyword ranking positions, right? Because before you would rank well, you would get certain visibility on search results, you would get those clicks, and you would get a lot of organic traffic. That has changed. That organic traffic is now moving to AI searches, or when you have conversations with AI, it's not just in Google AI overviews, but when people use Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or whichever other AI tool they prefer to work with. So when we say you need to build authority, what we mean by that is not just about keywords and topics anymore. AI will qualify you to receive a citation for your company to be listed as a result, or for AI to be able to list your company when someone is searching for specific topics. You need to have authority. It's not just about having a landing page anymore. So that's what we mean. You need to shift your mindset from always tracking ranking, keyword ranking positions. Old metrics are still important, but you definitely need to build authority because that's the one thing that is going to help you with both traditional SEO and AI search. I'm going to use the term AI search a lot here instead of calling it GEO, AEO, or whichever other acronym people are using these days. So that's what we mean by that. When you build your authority, then that's going to benefit you on both traditional and AI search these days.
Okay, yeah. So Google has recently announced like major changes to the search, like you've just said now. So that's including multi-modal search experiences and AI-powered search becoming like mainstream. What do these changes mean for businesses then?
Excellent question. We were blessed last year to participate on a summit from Google, which is what they call the future of search, right? This was around August, September last year. And they're already saying that they're moving away from a keyword search results methodology and start using more context. And understanding your audience and having the right context for specific queries and searches would be key for success. And this has happened a few weeks ago when Google announced what they are already rolling out. So there are a few things that we need to keep in mind. Number one, Google, everything you know about Google has changed. It's not that it will change, it has changed already. Google is no longer a search engine. Google right now is a AI assistant, right? Because it's not going to force you to use their AI capabilities, but everybody's using AI more and more. Use AI overviews to do the research. It's no longer about one or two keywords. We're talking about much longer queries with 4 or more words in it, which means people are having conversations with AI. And that's exactly what Google said it was going to happen last year. So that's number one search. Now, when you do searches on Google, Google will, as a AI assistant, support you with follow-ups. It could monitor certain things. So if you are on e-commerce, for example, and someone is searching for, I don't know, I want to buy a t-shirt or a hat or training shoes, Google will suggest certain models, certain brands, certain stores, and perhaps you can tell Google, could you monitor prices because this is my budget? And Google will automatically send you notifications when the prices drop, when a certain product is no longer available. So it's a lot more than just a search engine. And that's a massive change in the way that Google behaves, right? And companies need to understand all those changes and adapt as well. Before, it was very linear. You would target a specific keyword, either on paid search or organic. You would get an impression, you would get a click, and you would probably get a conversion on your website. Now you need to focus on context. Content on your website has to be super powerful as well. The whole journey needs to be excellent because Google cares a lot about user experience. So it's no longer about just targeting a keyword. The whole experience has to be optimal, because Google will only feature you on either paid or organic results if you have strong ads, if you have strong landing pages, strong creators, and if the content, through context on your website, makes sense to the user. Google is very interested in the user experience there. So you need actually to keep the full funnel in mind, and companies need to adapt. Good news is, if you have companies that were already targeting the full funnel, really caring about the user experience, optimizing landing pages, those companies will be okay. But other companies that never really paid too much attention to those elements, which are very, very important from a digital marketing point of view, they will now need to make changes because otherwise it will fall behind. So those are perhaps the major changes. I think Google actually called it the biggest change since the search box was introduced, right? Many, many years ago. So it requires the need for adaptation for any business, to be honest.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself, like just by using any form of AI. It's amazing. And I think Google AI is the first AI mode that pops up, and then the rest of the information that comes underneath Google. So you cannot
You don't
avoid.
even look at it anymore, right?
No, I don't even scroll past the AI mode.
You don't have to. Everything is there. That's exactly the point. Yeah.
Exactly. I do feel though that sometimes we think like we have to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit. But if you could utilize the traditional basis of like understanding your audience, as you've mentioned, and then like adding some spice to that by like, how can I pivot in this current new Google shift, I think is also important, because our traditional base is what kind of got us going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a great point because people keep trying to find silver bullets, right? What are the new tricks we need to implement to ensure that Google is actually going to feature us, that we get those citations from other
Yeah,
AI tools? And it's not about that. Do the foundation right, do the foundation really, really well, and you will be okay. So it's
yeah.
not about finding new tricks. It's about doing the basics, the foundation really, really well.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I think that if you're just grabbing the new trend and implementing it, like, is it working for your audience? First question. So, yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
You
amazing.
might have some temporary success with that if you just follow new
Little.
trends, but in the long run, you're going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah. And I think it can also overwhelm sometimes marketing agencies with trying to stay on trend so much and hit it with all trends instead of just like that narrow focus on who their target audience is, so that they can make sure that they show in the correct way of AI searches, AI citations, as a person can say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Part of the things that we present is exactly around that. It always
Okay.
reminds me of what Jeff Bezos. I was listening to a podcast that he was part of. I don't remember the exact podcast, but he mentioned something quite interesting, that companies keep trying to find the next new thing, right? What customers will want. We need to try and find novelties. What are the new trends? What are the new products? What's new? What's next? And he was like, we use the exact opposite of that at Amazon. We're not trying to find new things that the audience or our customers will want. We will try and identify the things that they will always want and just do better at that. And I think that's a
Exactly.
wonderful thinking. In his
Yeah.
mind, what is very hard to think of a world in 5 to 10 years from now that people will not want free shipping, that people will not want cheap prices, that people will not want variety of products.
Yeah.
So that's the key to Amazon. They got all these things that will be constant, and that's the name of that philosophy, the constants philosophy. And they did all those things that will always be something that your customers and your audience want, a constant. They do it really, really well. And I think if you apply the exact same methodology to SEO or digital marketing as a whole, to be honest, you'll
Mm.
be good, you'll be safe, you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
agree.
exactly what we try to apply with our clients. And I highly recommend everybody listening to this to shift the mindset a little bit. What we said a few moments ago, stop chasing that bright star, stop trying to find silver bullet, just do the foundations really, really well, because chances are 5, 10 years from now, foundations will remain the same and you will continue to succeed. You will be okay.
Yeah, I agree. Let's not reinvent the wheel. If it's turning the way it's turning, let's go
Exactly.
with it. Yeah. Amazing. So like that shift is what I'm assuming has led you to build the authority engine, your 5 pillar framework for the AI era. Can you walk us through the 5 pillars at a high level so our audience
Of
has a
course.
picture?
Of course. And that's exactly right. With that philosophy in mind, we need to change, but we need to ensure that whatever we do as a change, we're not following trends. It's a constant, right?
Yeah.
And there are 5 things that we believe will help not only with SEO, but also AI search, and it will also help all other disciplines in digital marketing, such as PR, such as content, such as paid media or social media. So we came up with the 5 principles, which are basically authority architecture. In a nutshell, what that means is how can we build authority? What are the mechanisms we can utilize in our company that will help us build authority? And I can give a few examples later. Entity optimization. AI does not look at your company as a website like Google used to. It will look at your entire digital footprint. So the messaging on your website, social media, or any other publications have to be constant, have to say the exact same thing. So that's what entity optimization means.
Okay.
Integration strategy as well, which is quite important. You need to integrate all digital marketing disciplines. SEO plays a massive, massive role now because remember what I said earlier, Google wants a excellent experience, which means content on your landing pages have to be optimal. That will also help with paid media. If you have poor content, you know those landing pages with just one paragraph in a form,
Yeah.
that's not going to work anymore. So you
No.
need to have excellent content on your landing page, and SEO can provide your content team and your paid media team with amazing insights, and the other way around. So you need really to integrate, otherwise you'll fall behind. Context creation is not a one blog post about one topic anymore. You need to create content hubs, and that's going to help with the entity optimization as well, because if you have those content hubs, you can then republish that on specific industry publications, social media, your paid campaigns, and it helps build that entity that we talked about earlier. And all of these elements will compile on the 5th element, which is basically EAT amplification. EAT is the foundation of SEO. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Google wants to ensure that you are an expert, that you have experience, that you have an authority, hence the authority building, and people can trust you. So all those social signals, reviews, speaking at events, which we all do that as well, publishing things online just to share your expertise, that will help you amplify it. And with that in mind, to be able to amplify it, you need all those other 4 elements that I just mentioned to you as well. And this will, at every single instance, ensure that you're ready for this AI era and you're actually allowing not just Google, but all other search engines or AI tools to identify you as an expert. And this is when you get those citations. This is when you build trust. And this is when you actually grow your business through digital marketing activities.
Cristiano, I was wondering, with you mentioning this is like, if someone has basically that traditional website, like you've mentioned, that's the traditional, like very 2001, I would say, what would you suggest that they do, like to implement your 5 pillar framework so that they're not necessarily starting at like the last bit of the alphabet so that they can be recognized?
Of course, they are already behind. Let's start
Okay.
with that. Good news is a lot of other companies are behind as well. So
Yeah.
this is the right time for you to actually do something about it. When we say authority architecture, which was the number one, what we typically do with our clients when they have really poor websites, just a couple of blog posts, because they're small companies, they don't have a lot of money to invest. What we do is we basically start recording all conversations we have with those clients, and we ask them to record conversations when they have internal conversations as well. We do
Yeah.
know that the most interesting and important and unique insights are usually trapped in internal conversations, in the mind of that software engineer that has been working for you for a very long time. When your support team is having chats with your customers and they ask questions and you need to interact with them. When someone calls you to ask questions and, for example, you're on a call and they say, well, I've tried every single other tool out there and your tool is the only one that can actually cope with our volume. That's not just a conversation between your customer and sales. That's basically a whole headline for your next paid media campaign.
Yeah.
So the authority architecture consists in you gathering that data from all those multiple sources, including conversations, internal conversations, and you can do that very easily with AI these days for you basically to capture those insights into call transcripts, and then you get AI to analyze all of that and start
Yeah.
helping you build content.
Okay.
That content is going to be unique to you. You and I can try and go online now and let's write a piece of content about anything related to health, right? And we can write a good piece of content, but it's going to replicate information that already exists online. There's nothing new about it. It's not going to be unique. If you
Yeah.
do what I just said, you're going to have specific, unique content based on how you do things, what your customers want, how you solve problems, your differentials, what do you do better than the competition? And that foundation, the authority architecture, which is, again, the pillar number one, will help you with context creation, because this is what's going to help you build your context calendar. It's going to help you optimize your entity, because now you know how you have enough content to distribute through social media, external publications. PR is going to help with your social media as well. And the integration strategy that I mentioned earlier as well, you have all of that information which you can distribute to your internal teams. And that's how you build the EAT amplification that I mentioned earlier. So the very first step, you need to try and capture that information that is now trapped in conversations, support chats, phone calls, or any other data points that you have internally.
Okay, yeah, I do like that. It's a good starting point. And it's also like an kind of an umbrella branch to stating, like, go back to the tradition of getting to know your current customers and what are they saying and who's speaking about what is your sales team saying, what are your development team saying, and then put it into AI and then spend quite a few hours reading and determining the information. Yeah. And remove
100%.
the words like actually.
Yes, exactly. You're going to
Yeah.
get to understand your audience better. You're probably going to reinforce some assumptions you already had, but maybe you're going to find something interesting. Oh, we always thought this was a very important feature on our product. No one has mentioned it, so perhaps we shouldn't focus on that. So you're going to learn a lot. And then you will go from a 10-page website to a 50-page website. That doesn't mean you need to have hundreds of pages. You just need to own that context space, everything positive and negative about one topic. If you are the expert, you should really have a lot of content with the right context behind everything you do.
Yeah, I think what I've realized is a little bit difficult is that to find your niche, especially in today's competition. Like, I think if you and I had to prompt something quite similar, I think our first two response on a very vague prompt would kind of be the same. So now that's where you need to build it and find your niche within our own data information, but then work on it from that perspective. Yeah, I think that takes a lot of skill and knowledge to have to do.
A lot of skill and knowledge, but you already have people in your company that have that knowledge about that specific topic, finding your niche. You just need someone to guide that process, because once you have all that information, you can do additional research on social media to understand what people have been saying about your competitors, that feature in particular. Reddit is a gold mine in terms of getting that information. So yeah, it's not easy. Otherwise, everybody would have been doing it already.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it doesn't take a lot.
Okay. Okay. Just a little bit of an afternoon and some prompting and research, I think.
Perhaps a little bit more than an afternoon, a few days, I would say. But once you get it done, once you find the right prompts and the right formula for you, then you have an automated process after that. So you will spend a little bit more time in the beginning to figure things out. But once you do, you have a prompt forever, basically.
Okay. And would you recommend that those people that utilize an AI platform that they go and do the extra step by personalizing and adding their brand to the AI personality to
A
help with?
100%. 100%. So there are two elements here, and perhaps we're talking about producing content specifically, right? You're going to capture those insights. And with our clients, what we typically do when we have those conversations and we capture all the insights, we have the right topics. We probably have already crawled the website to understand which pages already exist, which pages need to be updated. When we crawl that website, lots of pages will already have authors. That's quite important. Remember those old days that you could actually have a article written on your website with no author, no nothing. So if you want to build authority, you need to have a name over there, and preferably a name with high credentials. Is this software engineer that is helping us write this article, is he a PhD? What are the other credentials he has? Because that's how you build authority, right? But if that individual has already written 2, 3, 4 articles for us, we can simply capture those and get AI to analyze the writing style, specific nuances in the way that that individual writes articles and or publications. And then we get to humanize that content. It's never going to be 100% ready, but it's going to be in a pretty good position that you can send that to the exact same individual and ask that individual, that professional, that specialist to analyze the first draft. And we are usually 95% there. There's going to be some tweaks here and there,
Yeah, of course.
but that process is still much, much faster than doing everything from scratch. So
Yeah.
yes, you can utilize AI to make it more personal and follow specific styles as well.
Yeah. I think it helps a little bit with your persona tone as well, at least when you actually get to the
100%.
point of generating. Yeah, I also
And I'm not
love.
sure about you,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
when I get an email, when I'm reading a post on social media or an article, I know right away this came from AI.
Oh,
So,
it's so sad. That's
right?
so regular.
Horrible.
Yeah. I feel so sad, like a little bit like lost, I think, in that perspective, because I think it's difficult to be authentic because if someone is really good at English, let's say, for instance, and they have really great grammar skills and they use the word actually like a normal sentence, I think that kind of contradicts them a little bit. But I haven't seen an email that was written without AI in a while.
Yes,
Yes.
I hear you. And what is your level of trust when you're reading those articles, when you get those emails that are trying to sell something to you? I suppose it's very, very low, right? Because you know it's a kind of an automated process. So making it human is key here, and we need that. It's the specialist producing that content, is not AI. AI is just helping with insights and capturing this specialist way of thinking, but the specialist needs to review it. And when it goes live, it is truly 100% from that specialist that you have in your company.
Yeah, I was listening as well into a podcast like 2 weeks ago where someone said that you should not utilize AI as your main dish, but that fact that it's just a bit of salt. It's the spice that you're adding
Exactly right.
to your dinner or your lunch.
AI is a tool. We can't forget that. It's not going to replace humans anytime soon, if I'm honest. And they can
Huh?
come up with new models that are super powerful and etc.
Yeah.
There's still lots of nuances to the way that we do things. But AI is a tool. AI should be used to augment our skills, not to replace any skills. Every single company, and this was part of a talk that I watched at Web Summit last November. Most companies that have tried to replace humans with AI have failed. The ones that succeeded in adopting AI are the ones that are trying to augment.
Yeah, I feel like kind of if you look at Amazon, when you go back to that, where you first have a chat with AI, and then once AI cannot help you, it will then connect you with the human connection. And I like that as well,
I prefer that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes AI can tell me if it's a user problem or an Amazon problem. So, like, out of those 5 pillars, we've kind of touched on a broad topic on the 5, but which one do you think is most important for the agencies who are completely having an overlook right now?
Yeah. I
Does it
think the
matter?
first one, yeah, well, you need all 5 to be honest, but you need to start from somewhere. And for you to be able to build content authority, optimize your entity, you need to capture those insights. You need to have a proper content calendar. So the authority architecture, which requires you to compile data from all those different data sources, is the foundation for everything else you do afterwards. So I would say that that's the most important one. And if someone is asking, where should I start? You start with that, basically.
Okay. I think it can also kind of be a little bit overwhelming because a content calendar can grow and new trends come. So I think it's also quite important to maybe check out platforms like Metricool that releases really good information because they're like a data analysis tool as well as content scheduling. And I think that it's quite useful to be able to read their articles to kind of see what's trending as well, and then implement that
100%.
into your content calendar. Yeah. I just think you need to kind of find the balance of not editing too much onto your content calendar and trying
Hmm.
to stay in the lane and not have like an overwhelming of wanting to stay on trend as well.
Yeah, of course. And that's precisely right. I think you're going to have two different types of content when you build a content calendar. The constant ones, right? If you're talking about specific topics, even explaining the basics of whatever you do. If it's a
Yeah,
software and the software is on a specific niche, you need to be the one-stop shop for that topic in particular, right? To build context.
of course.
But you can also match that information that is informative information with trends, and of course using any other tools that will help you understand which trends you have in the market right now. It's a requirement as well, for sure. So yes, to everything you said, you're going to have a calendar that shouldn't change too much, but you can also add additional pieces of content based on what's happening in the world at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree. As a content marketer, I do struggle with that a little bit, with getting excited and wanting to add in what's trending. But then I get off the lane and realize that is not necessarily our target audience. So I think it's about staying
Yeah,
also.
I think we're all guilty of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be part of something sometimes. Like it's the FOMO, I think, that a person gets. So, Cristiano, as Google and other platforms automate more of the execution layer through AI, where do marketeers and agencies still create the most value?
I think number one, you can't replace experience and expertise, right? Automation, algorithm optimizing your beats and publishing things automatically for you, it's been around for a while. People have been paying more attention to it in the last 2, 3 years because of ChatGPT and some other AI tools, and it's way better now than what it was before. But we're actually having this conversation internally the other day. Despite all these automatic optimizations and automations, whenever there is human interference, and I say that in a positive way, performance usually improves because we understand the nuances of certain things. You know, those posts that you see on LinkedIn and social media that says, I have replaced my whole agency by an
Yeah,
SEO automation. I'm not going to use a curse word here, but it's a trap. It doesn't work like that.
yeah,
You need to understand the context of things. You need to have an expert that is able to guide the workflow, basically, to understand if we're actually going the right direction, to understand specific details about things. So that only comes with knowledge and expertise, right? I like to use an example of a brain surgeon. I can watch 100 videos on YouTube about brain surgery and ask AI how to perform it. I'm never going to be able to do it if I don't actually have the experience and I don't actually go to medical school. So I think the same example applies here. There's another element that will always be important and cannot be replaced by AI, which is the relationship building side of things.
okay,
What I think is going to happen is AI will help us a lot more with what I call the mundane daily routine work with automations and helping us do research faster and help us put reports faster, better. But that relationship building, so we can actually speak to the counterpart, our clients, or internally, that cannot be replaced. And that is where the real value lies. Having conversations, understand what the company is trying to achieve, what's happening with customers, all of that context that we can only get as humans and we can later transfer to AI, only humans can do. So what I think is going to happen, specialists will utilize a lot more AI. It's here to stay. It's not going to change, but
yeah.
it's going to help us build better relationships, more sustainable relationships with our clients, because then we're going to have more time to do that instead of having to do repetitive work on things that can be automated.
Okay, so like I kind of feel we go back to tradition where you've just said like building relationship, because there's many books on how to build a relationship, how to speak to people. So I think maybe that's one of the part of the skills. Do you think that there's maybe another skill that becomes more important rather than less?
Yes. And you need to definitely up your game on the technical skills on how to utilize AI.
Okay.
I think we had a roundtable at Brighton SEO a few months ago with agency directors, and common topic was AI adoption within companies. And you're always going to have two groups of people in those companies. The ones that adopt AI and embrace it and see it as a tool and is going to help me do my job better, faster, more efficiently. And the ones that are more traditional ones and say, nah, this feels like cheating. I don't like using AI. I think I'm a more traditional type of guy.
Yeah.
Those individuals are going to fall behind pretty quickly. This is going
Yeah.
to be the fastest change in the job market ever. So you do need to acquire those skills that will help you understand how AI works. You don't have to be a developer. You don't have to be a programmer, but you definitely need to learn how to iterate with AI. And there are several courses out there that will help you with that. I think Anthropic has an amazing course, which is tool agnostic, by the way, how to interact with AI, how to get the best of it. That's a skill that you absolutely need to learn. Otherwise, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're dead. You're not going to have a job.
I love the honesty, Cristiano.
Well, it's true.
I love it. I
Me
definitely.
including, by the way.
Okay. Do you kind of like do you upskill quite often? Like, is that something that's quite important to you?
100%. So it's good news is you can use AI for that, right? But I'm
Oh, should we go
constantly
today?
listening to podcasts, trying to understand which new models are out there. And it's quite overwhelming at the moment because things happen very quickly. You have one great model today and then the competitor launches a better one. And then you have one tool that is updated tomorrow. The tool that we used to use 6 months ago is no longer the best one in the market. So you need to adapt and evolve quite quickly. But as I said, you can use AI to just capture all that information online, to listen to some podcasts or watch some YouTube videos and summarize things for you. And I basically spend at least 30 to 45 minutes daily trying to get up to speed with things. And when there's a new technology that I feel I need to learn, I do spend a little bit more time on that. So yes, it requires that skill these days. You need to acquire knowledge and at least keep an eye on news to see what's happening in the world of AI. I would say daily. You need to save at least 30 to 45 minutes every day to get up to speed with everything.
Yeah, that's that's quite discipline that you need today. I mean, from my experience in the working environment, I didn't have to try and follow trends so much, like probably 7 years ago. But today, I'm every single day reading articles, listening to a new podcast that was released, just so that I know what happened yesterday.
Right? So you're a good example of that. So you already understood that if you're not up to speed with stuff, if you don't catch up with the news, it's you fall behind. So you're a
Yeah.
great example.
And also, it can also be a little bit overwhelming if someone that has like the 2001 website page, all of that information is going to be very overwhelming, because I think it's quite important to
So
see
overwhelming.
what's happening now, what's in the middle. Yeah, super
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's true. And even for the more technically savvy professionals, it's overwhelming. So imagine the ones that are not used to these types of changes and this evolution. So yes, you're 100% right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what we've just covered now, important two skills would definitely be relationship building, on communication, and then upskilling yourself for 45 minutes every single day.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So, Cristiano, if a company listening today can focus on one of the pillars first out of your five, where should they start and why?
So again, it always starts with the authority architecture.
Okay, so you always start at your base one, your one pillar. There's no like,
Exactly.
okay, okay, okay,
Exactly. Perhaps the how you would do that is the most interesting one here, right? Because we
okay,
can
that's a good
talk
frame.
theoretically about what they should do, but how do you do it?
Yeah,
So I think there's a minimum viable option there, which I think is quite important. You don't need much. You probably already work with an SEO tool, and we're talking SEO specifically here, but the same rule applies to other digital marketing disciplines. So you already have your SEO tool. Most SEO tools, if not all of them, allow integrations with AI tools these days, Claude, Codex, Gemini, or any other tools. So you already have that. If you're not recording internal calls and calls you have with your clients, if you're an agency, then you definitely need to get a call tracking tool. There are several ones out there. They start from $10 all the way up to $30, $40 a month, depending on the features. You don't need many of those. One account is more than sufficient. And then you need a AI tool. You can call it AI assistant or whichever tool you prefer. Again, it could be Gemini, it could be Claude, it could be Codex, ChatGPT, whatever you prefer. I would at this stage recommend either Codex or Claude, the desktop versions of it, because they're more robust and allow you
okay,
to download files to your computer.
Mm.
And it's actually better to process those files. If you have a folder that is well organized, I would recommend those too. And you can start with the basic license, which again is going to be between $20 and $50 a month. So with less than $100, you can start building that authority architecture for you and your clients. If you're an agency, you start with that. And then you need to start experimenting. The prompts that work for us or our clients might not be the exact same ones that will work for you and your clients. But hopefully after this podcast, you get a pretty good idea of what it takes, and then you can start experimenting with the tools and ensuring that the quality of the output is what you desire. And then there's one thing that we always mention in our talks as well. The quality of the output of what you get is directly related to the quality of the input. Garbage in, garbage out. So you do need to spend some time, especially in the beginning, experimenting and iterating with the tools, ensuring you give all the right information until you get an output that you consider to be good, satisfactory, or excellent, and then you have a methodology already.
So a few moments ago, we chatted about, you mentioned a few times about like organic traffic and paid traffic. If rankings and organic traffic are becoming less reliable as metrics, how does an agency show a client that their SEO work is paying off?
Great. So when we refer to SEO these days, we are including traditional SEO and AI search. So to us, they're one of the same, right? You can't separate them because when you do work on traditional SEO, it's going to help you with AI search. And if we focus on AI search, you have to do work that helps traditional SEO as well. Traditional KPIs and metrics are still important. It's going to help you understand how the tools are ranking, seeing you, if you're ranking for the right keywords, but then you need to add more layers to it, right? It does require you to do brand awareness as well, which is more top of the funnel. So with that in mind, you need to start monitoring and tracking brand citations online. If you do brand awareness and if you are building more generic content for organic traffic, organic traditional or AI, you want to see if you are the one being featured on AI overviews, or when someone searches for something specifically, it's your brand that is being shown. So you want to monitor how many searches for your brand you're getting. That should be growing over time. So that's your brand visibility. Okay, it was always there, to be honest, but now it becomes more important because that's how AI is going to categorize you. It's quite important. Then the other super important metric is AI visibility and AI citation. There, when you say AI visibility, it will include citation, clicks you get from AI. We can't track all of those AI clicks and metrics, but you can use a combination of filters in your GA4, or if you use any other analytics tools, you can use some combination of filters just to identify the URLs that are actually bringing traffic to your website. It will be classified as direct traffic or referral traffic. Sometimes it can build filters and understand how much traffic is ChatGPT sending to us, how much traffic is Copilot, Gemini, and etc. Right? And if you see that traffic increasing over time without actually checking citations through specific tools, it means that your content is working and you're now getting AI to feature your website instead of your competitor websites. If you do have enough budget and you want to utilize specific tools, there are many tools out there that are going to help you monitor AI citations. They come up with prompts. They try and guess what individuals could be searching for online. You just upload list of keywords and they will help you with that context that I mentioned earlier. What are the questions people will be asking? And they check daily to see on how many of those questions and answers your website, your company shows up instead of your competitors. And that's another good way of monitoring results. And lastly, is about business outcomes as well, right? You shouldn't measure success of digital marketing activities in isolation anymore. Google is giving us X, SEO is giving us Y. Social media is not working great at the moment, so we should stop doing any paid social. It doesn't work like that anymore. Remember that I mentioned that the full funnel becomes more and more important. Individuals are probably going to do a research about your company on ChatGPT. Let's use a random example. Perhaps they have never heard about you. They will definitely go to your social media accounts. They're probably not going to click anywhere, but they're going to see what's going on there. And maybe they forgot about you. Maybe they're doing that whilst they're on the train. When they get back home, they're going to do research on a brand and now remember you, and they might click in one of your ads. So if you stick to last click attribution, you think Google is working, but you haven't seen what happened before that click. So you need to measure outcome of all digital marketing activities. Once again, if you have budget, you probably need to utilize tools that can help you with multiple touch attribution and so on and so forth. So I think those three things are the main metrics that will help you adapt to the AI world, which is, once again, brand how much is your brand being recognized? I need to measure that by seeing how many times your brand has been searched for, AI citations, and digital marketing outcome. Is the whole digital marketing activity is helping us grow our business? Yes or no? And you can do that through multiple touch attribution.
Yeah, I like my favorite part that you've mentioned is that you should not just focus on the fact that like Google gave you this one answer, because it's not just if people are not just searching on Google anymore. And I think that's really important today, is to realize that Google was probably not the first search engine used to find your brand or get like a comparison, or for people to want to use a platform or a tool or anything. So I like that you mentioned that.
100%. And that has a lot to do with the entity optimization, which is one of the 5 pillars. That's why you need to have the same message being distributed everywhere, because then you're going to increase your chances of actually being found online.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a little bit difficult to have the same message like being constantly across,
Very
especially,
difficult.
yeah, especially like if you've been around for a while and you need to keep adjusting and changing, and you had a social media page and it wasn't really working, or you don't have the person anymore that was managing your social media page. And then like it's 2024 that the page was active. So it's a lot. It's really a lot to have to take on. But I think with a 5-pillar basis and like upscaling yourself, anything is possible. Yeah.
And as I said earlier, it's actually easier than it sounds. If you know what you're doing, if you've been around for a few years and you understand digital marketing concepts, or you are a digital marketer, it sounds a little bit daunting, but once you start working on it, it's not that difficult, because AI can help you get yourself organized and have a proper plan. This is when AI can keep you on your toes and help you follow a certain procedure, right? And you can have conversations with AI, explain your objectives, explain what you're trying to do, and AI will help you build a plan and stick to that plan as well. So that's how AI can actually help us do our work better, more efficiently, and get better results afterwards.
Yeah. So since you just mentioned that, what are the first, let's give it like 3 practical actions that someone should take that's watching us today?
I would say number 1, because you will be working with AI. If you haven't upskilled yourself, if you don't fully understand how you should interact with AI to understand when I need to do a task, when AI can help me, and when I need to verify AI's work, I would definitely recommend take one AI course. And Anthropic has some pretty interesting ones, which are, once again, tool agnostic, is how to, with AI, basically do that first. Number 1. Point number 2, start recording those calls. That's going to be the best source of information that you're going to get from your company, for your clients, or in any domain that you work with. You need to get that information from call transcripts. And if you have other data points, try and capture those data points as well. And then once you know how to work with AI, and when you have the data points through call transcripts or any other data points, you probably know how to put those two together. And this is
Yeah.
when you can start creating your own workflows and automations to get content to publish on social media. Then it's going to become easier. If you start from scratch and you do not know how to utilize AI, you will struggle a lot more. So this will make the whole world work a lot faster and better for you.
Yeah. Also, I think what people need to know is you don't need to invest a lot of money. I think like Claude is just $22 a month, but also the courses that they do offer is free. All you need to do is just sign up, and you have many videos, and
Yeah.
it's very easy to follow. You just need to set aside 45 minutes.
100%. Information has become a commodity. You can find information very, very quickly,
I like that.
very, very easily online. It used to take a long time for us to do research, take courses. You can do
Go
that
to
in
a
5 minutes
library.
these days. Exactly. You can do it for free, to your point. So it doesn't cost a lot for you to get started. You're probably going to need to set some time aside, but that's going to be the best investment you're going to make as a professional today.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Setting time aside, because it doesn't just benefit your business, it also benefits you and then the future of the two of you succeeding.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Cristiano, I absolutely love this information. I'm really obsessed with AI. So, how do you become the answer that AI chooses?
Great. You
Yeah.
become the authority. The fact that I'm here having this conversation with you, a lot of what we discussed today does
Yeah.
not necessarily come from my own experience in my own brain.
Mm.
We do record our internal conversations when our teams have calls with our clients and they are discussing strategies, sharing insights. This is what we should do. We started recording everything a year and a half ago, and that was the best thing we did as a company. And it helps us produce our own content to be seen as authorities. I already spoke at 3 Brighton SEOs. I'm going to do my 4th one in San Diego. I have been invited to some other podcasts. And the reason why we're here today is because you guys saw my talk and you think he knows what he's talking about. But it
Yeah.
doesn't all come from me. I'm just the messenger of everything that happens internally. And I can only do that because we started recording and capturing those insights. And I have full knowledge on what my team does for our clients and the amazing results that we have been getting. And that's how you become an authority. So you have to become an authority, and then your clients will come to you basically because they will identify you as an authority. And when they reach out to you, 90% of the sales job is already done. They made a decision to just need to have a chat with you.
Yeah. You don't have to do cold calling anymore that much. What made you get into being the messenger?
This is when experience plays a big part. As I said at the very beginning of our conversation, I have been doing this for a very long time, and we have SEO specialists, we have paid media specialists, we have paid social specialists, we have analytics specialists. I have knowledge on all these domains. So we have other individuals in the company that can also put all these different disciplines together to have a single message about digital marketing. But I'm the messenger because of that, because I have the experience that perhaps some other individuals in our team do not have. And is what I said earlier, AI is a great tool, but you need to have the experience. You need to know what you're doing. So I'm the messenger because of that. And I truly do believe that we are going through one of the most amazing periods in our history of digital marketing and technology online. I also want to make sure that people are fully educated on what has already happened and what will happen next, to give everybody a chance to prepare, adapt, understand a little bit more. We said earlier, things can be very, very overwhelming. It's not easy to keep up with absolutely everything. So I would like to, not me as an individual, but our company, Somebody Digital, be the ones that help bring a little bit of clarity to what's happening and a direction, just so people know exactly what they should do, and that will make things easier as well. So that's also part of our mission. We want to make sure we bring a little bit of clarity to what's happening right now and what we think is going to happen.
Okay, amazing. I like people that want to educate other people. I think that's really important. So, to our listeners, where can they find you and the coming up podcast that you'll be joining?
Amazing. So you can find us on social media. My LinkedIn profile is basically my name. If you search for my name on LinkedIn, you will find me. Our company website is somebodydigital.com. You're going to find a lot of information there as well. And we have workshop sessions every 2 weeks. If you go to our website, you're going to find a link that you can join workshop sessions. It's 20 to 30-minute sessions where we talk about practical things that you should be doing that will help you succeed in digital marketing. I promise you, we're not trying to sell anything to anyone. It's the educational piece that we just mentioned a few moments ago. We hope to share a little bit of our experience with everyone so people can acquire more knowledge and do things better. So there are many ways you can find me.
Amazing. Cristiano, thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.